Well, I've gone and done it. I've gotten a Philips CDI console, or interactive CD interactive player, to play Philips CDI discs. I'm a Zelda fan, so is one of my kids, and so I made it a point to start trying to go out and find a whole bunch of the Zelda games, including those old, obscure CDI games that are notoriously terrible. But I am also a fan of things that are notoriously terrible. So I went out and found a really good deal on a unit, but, well, we'll get into the issues that I'm having with it in a little bit. But first, I'm going to show you some of the properties of this thing. This thing's like a gigantic VCR. It's got power button on the front, audio out, phono out, there's volume control. This is an input for a controller. This opens and closes the disc tray. We've got some normal volume and play, or I'm sorry, previous, play, and next, stop, pause, all that good stuff. And then on the back here, we've got power. We've got another input, number 2, and this here is the expansion slot, which is one of the reasons that I went and got this one, because it already contains the digital video cartridge, which is a, stand back here, this thing's huge. If I can get it out, let's see. Let me get this thing, there we go. So this is a digital video cartridge. This thing's gigantic, and this apparently gives you the ability to play certain special CDI cartridge or CDI discs, and it inserts in the back just like that. And then we've got, of course, antenna in and out, and video out and audio out, as well as a remote in. And it's also got S-video, which I have never used, but I hear it's great. So now I'm going to show you the issues with it. Alright, so I've got it hooked up to the TV, got it hooked up to the power. This thing did come with the remote. As you can see, this thing's seen better days. The joystick's actually been snapped off of it. It was not packed very well in transit, but I'm going to see if I can maybe repair or find a replacement one for that, because at least this part seems to be okay. And here's the unit itself, which we're going to power on. See, everything comes up onto the TV okay, which is nice. And our remote does work. Kind of got a point and click system. Looks like that bar shows up whenever I'm using the remote. There's a little bar indicator right there. Now, what I did notice is, first thing, when we open this up, the belt is going, so I have to kind of help it out, and can't really see it too well. See if I can turn it off there. So that belt is one of the loosest belts I think I've ever seen. So I got a replacement belt I'm gonna be looking for. But aside from that, I'll also show you that if I put in a CD, this is the one that it was shipped with. One actually was shipped with a CD in there. And I get this. I get error. Now, from what I've been reading and looking up, apparently a very common issue with these is that the spindle in the disk drive gets pressed down, it gets compressed, and so it can't even spin. And that can obviously cause a lot of issues with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try taking this apart, and we're going to see if we can pry up that spindle and get this to play discs again. So some of this I'm going to be doing off camera because this thing is so huge it doesn't even fit in my workbench area, but I'm going to take off this screw here, this screw here. You can see that there, the star bit, I think that's probably a T6, and then we've got 2 on this side, and I want to say there's 1 there, a couple on the back. We'll spin it around and see if we can get a shot of those 2, but I'm going to start with these 4 and get those out. Just noticed that this thing also has a bend here. I tell you, I would upload the video of me opening this thing from its shipping container, because it was the thing had like a cubic foot of free space. insane. Like, no wonder this thing had damage when I got it out. But I digress. By the way, it was a T8 for these screws. So I'm going to get this one out, and then we'll flip it around to the back. Alright, and we've got one screw here, one here. Actually, it might just be this one. I'm going to leave these ones in for now. I think this is going to be the last one we'll have to take off. Alright, here we are. We've got it all the way opened up. This thing is massive. It even looks like it has, those almost look like add-on cards, but they're just flipped perpendicular, it looks like, for space saving. But it's just super interesting. And it looks like this slot is making full connection so that, well, oh, you know what, it wasn't. You know what, let's pop this thing on and give it another try and see if that was the issue. I don't think it was, because it wasn't even able to play like CDs, like regular CDs, but I'm gonna give it a try anyway. When I looked inside, well, this will give us a better look anyway. We'll power it on here. Okay, so you can actually see in there, you see how tight that spindle is? It can probably, yeah, barely spin. So I'm gonna have to see if I can pry that up a little bit, but I'm gonna try this with a regular CD, see if maybe it was something with that. Oh, it's trying. Okay, that's definitely the issue. I'm gonna see if I can get the spindle to spin again, and I'm just gonna try to use a very fine. I've got like a spudger that I can use to pry it up a little bit. We're gonna try that and see if we can do it without removing the disk drive. I may still remove the disk drive, but we'll see what we can do without doing that. Wow, so I ended up getting this more apart and noticed more damage. So these two little clips are what slide this onto the front of the disk tray, and you can see the disk tray itself is also shattered. Luckily, if I'm gentle with it, that shouldn't cause too many problems, but man, it's got pieces busted out over here too. What I ended up having to do was, there's a wire running right here. This plugs in over here. Had to pull this release back and pull the cable. Then this wire under here connects right here to do the same thing, pull the tab back. Then the most challenging part, which is going to be the most challenging part going in, is this ribbon cable dangling right there. That goes into this white little ribbon slot there. So that was fun, but that still doesn't really get me much closer to getting this sledge out. So what I need to do is try to get the tray off, or see if I can get the sledge out. I might be able to do it with these little rubber tabs, very similar to the Xbox original Phillips drive. So I'm going to try doing that. I'm going to try sliding these out. See, hopefully they don't rip on me. So yeah, I'm going to give that a shot. Okay, now I've got this over to the workbench so that I can take a look at it with a little bit better light. I was able to find, like, this area up here has a little tab that I should be able to slide this thing out with. Here's my screwdriver. Here we go. So if I slide this tab over a little, then I can slide this out further. But man, I am so afraid that I'm going to break more of the plastic on this thing. I feel like there's some resistance on this side. If I flip it over, I don't see anything blocking it. So I think what I'm going to do is stick to plan A and see if we can pull this out. Let's see. Let's see how one of them looks. Doesn't look too bad. I'm gonna try to Do this one the same way. Okay, there's two. I feel like I need something thicker. There we go. I want to cut the silicone here. I think this is silicone. Okay, there's three. Come on. Come on. Go in. Ugh. There we go. Got it. Okay, let's get this out without touching the laser now. Oof. All right, there's the sledge. So this is the issue we're running into. Now I don't know if it's the motor. Man, that's crazy. That's magnetic. Wow. That's very similar to like a hard drive. Very cool. All right, so what I got to do, I'm going to try to use maybe like a razor blade here to kind of get under the edge. And don't worry, this thing's not sharp. I've had this for like, I don't know, 20 years. And then we're going to get our little spudger. Let's see if I can work my way under it a little bit more. Again, without breaking it. Come on now. Well, it's a little bit better. Actually get this under there without the razor blade, which is nice. Just want to get a little bit more. Oh, there we go. That's much better. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it there. I've actually got a gap. I think that did it. I could feel a little pop in a good way, I guess. Okay, now let's see if we can get this all back together without breaking anything. So we're going to slide this back in, being ever so careful with the laser. Okay, I'm just going to pull one of these from the underneath and pull the other one, right, and just flip this over now to show you those actually did come through okay. Pull this one through, and we just got this last one right here. Okay, and that's it. And then this is our cable going underneath. Okay, so I'm actually going to close this. Yeah, I got a lot of space now. And we're going to plug everything in and see if we got any better luck. Actually, before I put it all back together, I have to show you, like, this is the belt that I'm worried about. that I want to get a replacement for. It's just handling the opening and closing of the tray, but look how loose that is. Like, that thing's barely hanging on. So, makes sense that I'll have to replace it. Alright, moment of truth. Power on. Oh, that's a good sign. I already got some spinny disc. Let's see if we can open the tray here. Okay. CD in. Hold on. Okay, play. Maybe. Come on. Well, that's not good. Well, shoot. Dang. Well, still no dice. That's really sad. I'm gonna try turning it off and turning it on with it in there. We'll see if that does anything. That's trying, but man, I don't think the motor's doing very good. Probably been burnt out because it couldn't do anything for so long. Yeah, because that... I don't know. I might try putting the spudger back in there from the back and see if I can lift it up anymore. We'll see. Alright, well, I found the issue. I was able to reseat the ribbon cable. It was not on all the way. I had to actually pull out the little clip, force the ribbon cable back in, and then close it. Then it was good. So let's see what was on this disc. Animation Magic Incorporate Production. What is this? Huh! Well, look at that. That's the other game that I'm looking for right now. So that is... it's super funny that that's what this is. There's a burned disc. Man, that thing sounds jankety. Let's see, let's load game. Do you have anything on here? Guess it doesn't have anything. We'll just start game. Wow.
Gee, it sure is boring around here.
Boy, oh boy.
This piece is what all true warriors strive for.
I just wonder what Ganon's up to. Your Majesty, Ganon and his minions have seized
What the heck is this guy?
How can we help?
It is written, only Link can defeat Ganon. Great, I'll grab my stuff. There is no time. Your sword is enough. How about a kiss for luck?
Oh boy.
Got to be kidding.
Squad-a-la, we are off.
Squad-a-la.
We're
Wow.
off.
That was pretty terrible. So we're gonna... It's pretty bad. I love the music too. Very rockin'. Oh, I see. I'm steering. Yeah, sure. Let's go Norinka. What? Yeah, continue. I guess... Nope. I have no idea what I'm doing. That? There we go. I feel like I need a mouse. What is that? I like have to get it with my sword thing there. Wow. This is crazy. Definitely need to get one of those controllers because this is pretty nuts with the remote right now. This is how I'm controlling it. With the TV remote. With the joystick. Wow. Well, I guess the important part is this worked. So I'm gonna open this up and now see if we can put in a regular or a legitimate CDI disc, which is the Zelda and the Wand of Gamelon. Gamelon? I know. So we're gonna try popping this in and see if this works. Okay. And I guess, yeah, play, sure. Why not? I feel like the thing is off balance a bit. I'm gonna stop. See if I can. No, I said stop. Stop. We're just gonna turn it off. Okay. Because I feel like this thing is not sitting how it's supposed to be. There we go. Is it at an angle now? No, it was like crooked before. I'm gonna try this again. See if it does any better. Okay. And we got play again, so yes, we'll hit play. Well, it's working. Well, maybe. I'll try that again. Yeah, that ain't good. Nope. Maybe. I'll try it again. Definitely having trouble reading. Nope. Alright, we're gonna try the other disc again. It's definitely having trouble. Alright, we're able to get it.
Don't worry, Zelda. Triforce of Wisdom promises the king.
Man, this thing looks like all of these cells were made with like MS Paint.
In the morning. I wonder what's for dinner.
Oh boy, I'm so hungry I could eat an octorok.
Oh boy.
A whole month gone, and still no word. I'm sure.
I really can't believe that Nintendo not only licensed one, not two, but 3 CDI games for Zelda. Oh, and it's got Mario Hotel, but I assume that's got to be better than this, maybe. But
We're going to Gamelon. All right,
oh
dear.
boy,
I'll get the Triforce.
well, this is pretty terrible. But the fact of the matter is, it's working. Let's go to Sakata, wherever that is. Oh yeah, continue. Yeah, we'll use our mouse button here. So very similar to. Oh. This time we are playing as Zelda. Look at that, this is just like Echoes of Wisdom. Totally the same. Well, this episode is, or this level is definitely more difficult. Oh my gosh, I end up dead. Well, anyway, the point is, we were able to get this working, which is very exciting. I think the next thing I'm going to do is, I do want to replace the belt in there. I'm really kind of disappointed that this plastic is such garbage, but you know what, I might try some super glue on this piece and see if I can get it back to, I mean, it hasn't broken off yet, but it will. Yeah, it's snapped there. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna snap this off, and actually I'm going to super glue it. So we'll get the disc out and get this back together, and yeah, kind of put her back together and see how she looks. Okay, we're going to do some super glue here. That's sad how much of all these old consoles plastic just disintegrates. You can tell that they definitely use some cheap product. Okay. Little dab. I think I am going to, once this dries, and probably once I get the belt, I am going to super glue the rest of the CD tray as well, and it's just going to give me a lot more peace of mind. So I'll hold this for a little bit. I don't imagine that I'm going to be taking this off too many times. Like, this is the last time I expect to take this part out, because I don't plan to take the drive out. I don't even know why the spindle has that common issue. Like, that's a really common issue apparently with CDIs, where that spindle just gets compressed. I don't know if it's from storage over long periods of time or just from normal use and wear and tear. I'm not sure, but it irks me. But either way, that should be the only reason that I would need to take that back out. The one other piece, and I may actually wait to do this, because there's a battery memory, or like NVRAM, which is supposed to be non-volatile memory, which means it doesn't go away. It's got a save chip in the motherboard, and those apparently go bad after a while, where if you load it up, you will get a message saying that you can't save, or like it needs you to clear memory and you can't clear the memory. And if that happens, you pretty much have to, like, you can't boot the console, you have to replace the chip. Luckily they're pretty easy to come by, but that's the only other reason I can think to open up the console, is to replace one of those. So yeah, alright, well, we're gonna let this dry, and after this dries, I'm going to go super glue the tray and see if I can get that to feel a little more solid. Okay, well, what I'm going to try to do is I'm just going to prop this up like so. See if I can get some super glue along this edge and along this edge in here, and compress it down, because this way it won't interfere with anywhere the disc will be. And I think that'll do nicely. So we're going to give that a shot. I think I've got a pretty good bead here. It's oozing out a little bit, but you know what? No one is really going to see that, and it's going to be my personal one. So I think this is going to work just fine, and it's going to keep it solid for quite a while, unless another part of this breaks. But this should be fine. And then we'll be able to put it back together. But man, look at this. This is got a corner missing right here. Come on, focus. There we go. Got this whole corner missing. Like, this thing's been through. It's seen some stuff, that's for sure. But all in all, not terrible condition, other than the plastic and the disk drive, which is the #1 issue. So as long as the laser's good, which it was reading the discs, which is really good. It was even reading a custom burned disc with some few scratches on it, but nothing terrible. But it did fine. Did just fine. So yeah, we'll see if we can get another belt for it, fix that so it can open and close on its own, and put it all back together. I am gonna see where the chip is on these. Wherever it is, I'm gonna end up having to desolder it. I'm gonna have to remove these boards. I'm hoping it's this one on this side because it's gonna be a lot easier to get to. And another thing people recommend that have done it before is they will put in like a I don't know what to call it. I can't remember, like a clip where you can take the chip in and out to replace it easily in the future. I just noticed that you can change it from NTSC to PAL right there just by soldering that little area there. That's neat. So this is an NTSC model, but I assume it'd be really easy to install a switch for that if we really wanted to be able to flip-flop between NTSC and PAL. But that's a project for a different day. Feeling pretty good right now. I got a working CDI console for the first time, so I can play those obscure, weird, debatably necessary Zelda games. But I'm excited for it. I'm going to come back just because I wanted to show the Timekeeper RAM, which I found the chip. That's right here, and it's got a little bit of discoloration. I don't know if that's just because of how it naturally is or not, but it's this MK48T08B. That's the Timekeeper RAM. Do not dispose of in fire. So this is the chip that I will have to replace, and luckily, yay, it's on the side that I will have easier access to. I won't have to take out the disk drive in order to get to it. So that's exciting. So I might order one of those and a chip, like, I don't know, I really wish I knew what to call that. I'll find out before the next time I record, I promise. Socket, it's called a socket. So I'm gonna get a socket and one of these chips, desolder all this, solder in the socket, and then I can put the chip in, take it out easy enough without having to remove the board ever again. So that'll be the next part of this project. Alright, well, I've got my sockets today, which I'll show you here. These are what I'm going to install in our CDI console so that I can attach or install and remove the Timekeeper chip whenever I want to, or I guess hopefully whenever I need to. So I'm going to desolder the existing chip, solder one of these in, and then I should be able to just pop the existing one back in because mine still works. So I am going to take our shell off of this again. I guess I should correct myself. It is not a CDI console. It's a CDI player. Because not only does this play CDI games, but it plays CDI media as well. So first thing I'm going to do is pop open this, and we're going to slide out our video cartridge like so. I've yet to test that thing because I don't have any other media to play on it. So what we're going to have to do is disconnect a lot of this. So get our screwdriver back out. I say everything was using a T6 or T8. T8. So what I need to do is I need to get at this board right here, which, you know what, before I do that, let me check something. I want to make sure that this is the same size as our chip. Looks like it is. So that's going to sit perfect. It's right on top of it. So that should fit just right. Actually, let me double check from this side. Yeah, that should fit perfectly. Great. Okay. Let's keep this disassembly going here then. Let's see if I can get away with just lifting this chip up. Or this board. Not entirely sure what it is. Give me a little grabber tool. Just comes out like that. Ah, right. So this is the this is where the video cartridge connects. FMV extension. Okay. There's some jumpers here, which I'm not entirely sure what those do, but I'm not going to get into that now. Okay. See here. Don't know. This board comes off at the bottom by chance. Must be some more pieces left over from shipping. I might be able to. I might flip this over. Well, so sure which way that comes out. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that does come in two pieces. That's good at least. Thought for a minute there was another broken piece of plastic there. I'm gonna have to disconnect the power cord here, which can need a flat head. Flip this around so you can see it here. So you can see this on the video. This is the cord that I have to disconnect. There's a little yellow flap here, a little yellow clip, I should say, that I think I need to pry out. Should release it. Yep. There we go. So that disconnects power, which I can then pull out this way. Okay. And we have no power. Move that. Okay. Disconnect that. I don't think that needs to really come out right now. So it looks like there's actually a screw underneath right there, and same deal on the other side, which I'm going to take out so that I can get this up. Looks like this also removes the door from the feels of this. Yep, it just comes out like that. Oh, and another piece of plastic. So I'm going to try to remember the orientation that this goes in. It goes in like this. Nope. Just kidding. Like this. Yep, just like that. I know that's going to totally be a challenge to put back together, but make it work. Let's see. I'm not sure how I have to get the shielding off. Almost thinking I gotta take this back panel off and it slides out from the looks of it. So I got 1, 2, 3 more screws on this side. Well, get that screw in a minute. Okay, now rear panel comes off like so. Now, I can slide this out. Yep. Okay. All right. Oof. Oh man. Well, this thing's got a lot more connectors in it than I was expecting. If I lift this up here, you can see I'm going to disconnect all of that. But I think I see what I'm going to have to do. I think this will come out now, maybe. Looks like it might just lift up. Yep. Lift up, and I feel like that side lifts up too, maybe. Come on now. Just gonna push this. There's a clip there. Yep. A clip here. All right. Lift that off. Okay. Only a few connectors here. Now does this just slide off? I don't see a clip anywhere. Start from the left. Work our way around. This one's got a clip, which I believe I pull. Yep, pull outward. So many different style connectors on this thing. It's crazy. Hopefully I can remember where all of them go. Beefy capacitors there. Alright, I'm going to have to take this screw out here that holds the board to the back panel. That is a much bigger screw than the rest of them, so I'll have to remember that one. Alright, let's keep going here. That's this there. I may try something here. I'm going to try taking out, you know what, before I do that, I'm going to try taking out this panel here. Oh, hello. This slides out. So the clip there, right here, that slides out. And then this should also slide out. I'll have to release these clips here. There's one. Pushing against that gently. And that slides out like so. Now what I'm thinking is I can remove these screws and I may be able to gently remove the motherboard in order to get some of these connectors out. There's only two screws from what I can see holding it in. Let's see if this comes out freely. Yeah, I'm not liking that, so I'm going to try getting these connectors out. Alright. Let's see if we can get this out. Put that one over under here. Alright, she's free. And we had to only disconnect a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 different connectors. Wow. That's nuts. Now what I'm going to be focusing on is this, the Timekeeper, which, you can see it actually says over here, Timekeeper RAM, and that is the piece that we are going to be desoldering. Okay, well, board looks overall pretty clean. These foam pads are pretty hard by now, but I'm going to try just desoldering this area over here. I'm going to be very gentle, because this is an old board. And we're going to try soldering in our little socket. Okay, getting our desoldering gun going here. Actually going to try putting some new solder on these joints first, so that they get picked up a little easier with the solder sucker. So I'm sure this is some old solder. Try this out. Uh-oh. Hmm. I'm gonna turn on the recording here. Mark. Okay, so what we're looking at here is it looks like this trace actually got broken while I was working, which is not great. So I'm gonna have to make sure that this joint makes a connection when I get everything back in. Other than that joint, which I might need to might need to heat up a little bit more. Those little ones seem okay. And I took that one too. This one I thought might have had a pretty good connection here. I'm gonna try to test it with our multimeter. Got continuity going. So let's see, let's move this down. Let's put this one. Okay, that's good. Let's check this other one here. See if that's really yep. I think I need to make a solder bridge there. I don't think I'm going to be able to make a connection with a small enough wire to make that work. Although the other option is, where does that go to? Does that just go to one of the other? Oh, that goes to that via over there. Might be able to cross that over from the other side, worst case. So that's, what pin is this? Can't tell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Pin number 6. And that comes away from this via, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it comes from this via over here. Might be able to cross that over if we really needed to. But I'm going to see how loose this is. Not very. So I'm going to use a tool that I haven't used much before. If I can find it. It's supposed to be for actually this one might not work. I think I need the different one. This is an IC extractor. Which I don't think I want to use this on it. Yeah, that's not what I want to use. I need my there they are. My IC extractor here. Because what I need to do is get this on either side. I'm gonna put some helping hands on and use some hot air. See if we can work this up and out. So, I'm gonna stop our recording. I'm trying to think of the best way to angle this. Slide this up. Here's our helping hands. Okay. Good enough. And see if we can bend that in a way that'll help with the fumes. Okay. Okay. So we'll start our hot air gun. We're going to do it to 600. Start our fume extractor. We're going to be able to see this melt the solder. Trying to pull this in. Only pulling this way, so. Well, I don't like the hot air gun though. I feel like I'm going to knock some of the smaller components off. Hmm. I'll just go with the old-fashioned solder wick. Alright, make sure that still looks good. Ooh, no bent pins. Looking good. Alright, let's see if we can solder this back in. Oops. I probably should have seen that coming. So right here is going to be the problem. Let's see, what the one they had issues with on the back. It is. Oh, up there. Alright, let's try that again. Actually, one wrong. Hmm. Well, let's see if this lets me get it in a little bit better. That's much better. Okay. And that is how it should fit, too. So, let's see. So, try to move my boarding over here. Okay. We're going to the books down.
Soldering iron up here. Recording mark. Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, my microscope died. Or I guess my phone died, but it's recording the microscope. Okay. So I can still use the microscope here. Okay. That's looking good. Now I need to bridge this Cyberjunk and over here. Alright. Well, let's see. Curious if that has continuity or not. So we're gonna do let's go from here over to One more. I can go through. Yeah, alright. I can go through the via here. See if I can solder it to the other side. Okay. Okay. And then put any flips down. If I need to. Yeah. Probably need my fine tips soldering. Let me try this anyway. Alright. Actually, it seems to be filled. So we're gonna we can tone this out first. Just make sure that's connecting to the via that we want. Get this in the microscope again. All right, feeling good. That wire's solid. So we're going to move this around. And we're just going to tin this wire. Yeah. Oh, dang it. My wire snapped. But you know what? Probably the best way that could have happened. Let's see if I can put in some solder there. See if you can follow this trace. Let's go over here. Yeah. Try to see if we go right there. I'm just gonna skip over that via. Hopefully this works. Just make sure that's not one of them. Oh, make sure from this angle. Right, the corner of that phone. Okay. This is flux. Okay. That's probably much more solid than the via. So now I should be able to turn this out. Okay. All right. All of it.
Whew. Well, I have to admit that was a little more difficult than I was initially expecting, but all in all, I think it turned out pretty well. No components fell off that were not supposed to come off in the first place, and now I should be able to remove this whenever I want to. I'll test that once I actually get it in place, but I'm going to keep it in for right now. I do have some new ones coming. I've got some spares that are on their way. And when they get in, maybe we'll try installing it. But time to go put this thing back. Well, I noticed something as I was putting this, or getting this ready to be going back in the case, that this pin is still gonna, it's still sticking out, and that is the one that I had trouble soldering in. You can actually see it's not. I can't believe I didn't notice this before, but it's not all the way in still. But I did test continuity, and I did make sure that it is in fact, like, it's solid. I just pulled the chip out and it stayed in there. So I think it's okay for now. We're gonna go with it and see if this thing powers on and continues to work. Fingers crossed. Alright, and I did insert the chip, and it fit right back in there very easily. So I'm thinking we're okay. Now I'm gonna see if I can put this puzzle back together. So we're gonna try lowering this in, just like we did before. The opposite way. Some little clips on the other side over there that I'm making sure it sits in between. It's kind of got little slots to keep it off the bottom of the board, but lined up. See if I can show that to you real quick. So these slot right here, slides in between, and there's another one, can't see where, right behind this gray clip, and then one all the way down here. So got that in place. So now we can screw it back in. I'm actually going to do the big screw first. Am I? Let's see. Yes, I am going to do the big screw first because that goes underneath the panel. So we're going to screw that in first. Probably a good idea anyway because it keeps it lined up. Then we can get the rest of our screws in as usual. Well, if I have learned one thing putting this thing back together, or I'm sorry, working on this thing in general, it's that these older systems, those traces are very, very fragile. So they take a little bit more care than some of the newer systems. Although at the same time, like as I'm saying that, I'm realizing this thing was released in like '94, so it's not. Well, actually, you know what? I'm not certain on the year. I'll look that up and put it in the video later. We'll find out when it was actually made. All right, I'm gonna try like redoing these cables here. It's bugging the heck out of me. So this one, I believe, goes around there. This one goes right here, I know that. Be careful putting everything back in. That's this guy. Alright. I need to check out the footage, I think, because some of these are too similar. It's ridiculous. Maybe they're labeled. We'll look in a second here. Be nice if all of them were color coded. It's like they ran out of colors. Pretty sure this is that one. That's that one. But I will double check that to be certain. And where's our little white cable? How's this one over here? Okay, now I think what I'm going to do, try to decide, yeah, I think I'm kind of want to power it on and make sure that all the connectors are good. But I'm going to review the video first, before I even do that. I want to make sure that these two cords are where I think they need to go. Well, and it's a good thing that I went to the video because I have them reversed. I'm not sure what the purpose or function of either of these is, but they would not have been correct, which I cannot imagine would have had good results. So, and now that I'm looking at it, I guess it kind of makes sense. This one's gray, and this one's kind of black. So, okay, fair enough. They're somewhat color-coded. I'm going to do a once over. These ones are size-based. There's not really any way to mess those ones up. Those are color-based. Alright, the rest of them I'm feeling pretty good about. And then this guy went in here and here. That's good. The rest of them are just kind of in this mess of wires. So we'll keep it in that mess of wires. Okay. Let's see if we can get this rest of the stuff back how it was supposed to go. This is almost last. So this goes this way. Make sure there's some shielding. I gotta make sure I'm on the right side of. Okay. Weird. How is that? I guess that's how it has to fit. So, okay. Gotta go from that perspective, I suppose. Now this one over here is going to be interesting because I think that's going to hold up or hold back some of the cables. So I might end up feeding some of these through or back here. Because, yeah, I need these wires to all fit. I suppose this is their idea of cable management. Ew. Yeah. I really don't like that. You know what? Looking at it, I don't think there's really much of another way to do it. Just kind of gotta slide it in, and that pinches the cables together, keeps them in line, I suppose. Okay. I don't remember how that thing goes. This thing is an assortment of very strange panels, I'll tell you that. But I do believe this screws there. Alright, I'm going to review the footage, see what our next reverse step is. Okay, so I did figure out where some parts go. So this goes in like so, clips in like that, and this piece does go in like so, and then we have to start putting our panel back on. Start putting some screws in. Make them a little loose. Tighten that up now. I've got it aligned. Over here in the center. Okay, and the two pieces that I knew were going to be challenging, putting it back in, are these. Remember how this goes in. These probably needed to go on before this panel. Now that I'm looking at it, that would make a lot more sense. But it doesn't look like it makes a whole lot of difference one way or another. And I gotta find that screw that I dropped earlier. This should now go like that. Beautiful. Let's see if we can find that screw. Well, it was definitely in the last place that I looked, as the saying goes. I remember it bouncing off my foot, and I couldn't find it anywhere because it was inside my pant leg cuff. Both a blessing and a curse. I didn't lose the screw, but it was definitely not one of the first places that I looked. Alright, let's get this put back together and test it out. Okay, so we're going to slide this back over. lose any of these screws. Again, I should say. Shouldn't lose them again. Okay. That is good to go. This fit just like that. Let's get this ginormous power cord fed back over. I mean, it's not huge, but it's definitely an awkward shape. Or an awkward path for it to have taken. It should go right back in its home. Alright, well, before we get the top on, let's put the video cartridge back in. Not that I have anything to test it with, but just want to make sure it fits and all of that. Okay, good to go. Oops. Alright, moment of truth here. Let's see if we can bend this. I'll just remove it. Okay. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy. Uh-oh. That ain't good. Shoot. Okay. Well, I've done busted something up. This doesn't even power on at all anymore. That ain't good. Nothing on the output here either. Okay, well, I think I better make sure that I got all of my cords in the right place. Alright, well, I think I found the issue. I'm going to see if I can zoom in here for you to show you. I'm also going to put on the microscope recording. Maybe try to do both at the same time, but it all has to do with the area that I had to solder the bodge cable to, or the jumper. And I'm gonna record with the microscope on mark. So the issue is this area right here, which is why I have this cable installed. So this wire right here was never supposed to connect to this. It was supposed to connect to this here. While I was desoldering, I broke this connection, and I thought that it was redirecting to connect to this wire here. It was not. So in fact, this via that goes over to right here, that we have connected over over here off microscope right there, that actually needs to follow this path down, around, and straight. Does not need to go to that pin. It goes straight up this way and connects right there. So I need to desolder that cable and solder it onto this area over here. So that's what I'm going to do now, and hopefully I didn't damage any components in the process.
Okay. And test continuity. Make sure that those do not have contact. Okay. All right.
Okay, well, moment of truth here. Let's see what we got. Are we back? We're back. Whew. All right. Well, that makes me feel tons better. So we've now got the Timekeeper in there, in its socket. We're able to fix the issue. I'm going to do some cable cleanup, and then we'll close her back up. And the next repair we got to do is the belt for the disk drive. This is the belt that I was shipped, which is supposed to be a drive belt for a PS2 FAT model. From what I was reading, this belt size is supposed to be pretty comparable to the belt needed for the CDI. I don't think it is. If I look at this belt here, which I'm gonna end up having to pull it out, right? This, something's telling me these are not the same size. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm actually gonna have to measure this, try to find a way to, I guess try to make it round, or like try mostly even, to see if I can measure what the diameter is. But I got to find a new belt, because this thing is pretty stretchy. And before I do anything with the drive, I've got to put that in. So I'm going to put this back together for now, because I've got another big AV unit that I need to take apart to finish up. But so far we've got our Timekeeper mod replaced. We've got the socket in there and it's working. What I need to do is I got to wait for my new Timekeeper to come. One thing I do want to cover is that this Timekeeper is actually really interesting. So I was reading a little bit more into it, and there's literally inside of this chip there is a lithium ion like coin cell battery. If you use a Dremel and etch away the plastic here, you'll eventually reach a coin cell battery. And some people say you can try to like remove that and solder in your own so that you don't have to take out the motherboard. Honestly, I'm glad I did what I did, even with the issues that I had, because that just seems like a really not graceful solution. Even with the trouble I had with this is going to be really easy to take out and replace in the future, assuming I can still continue to find these. Worst case, some people have also soldered a battery in parallel above the battery that's there, but then you can have leakage and all kinds of other issues. So once that comes, I'll be replacing that, and I tested it earlier, and it definitely does not keep the date and time settings. It also will not keep any save games that we try to keep. So without this replaced, we won't be able to save our games or save the date. Once we get the new one, we should be able to test that and really make sure that the socket mod is doing what it's supposed to. So until then, I'm going to close this back up. I'll look for another belt too, and once that arrives, we'll install that and see how the drive tray works. Today is an exciting day because my name brand variety pack of drive belts arrived today from Amazon, because I was not able to find the exact belt that I need for the CDI. So I'm going to take this belt, this is the stock one that I pulled out of it, and I'm going to try to find a belt that is almost on par with it. I'm not going to find one that's exact. That's pretty darn close, but I need probably one that's a little bit smaller than this one is. Yeah, I feel like this one might even be exactly what I need, because I want it to fit snugly. This one's already a little bit oblong, but you know what? We're going to give it a shot and see if this lets our drive open and close without issue. Okay, so we've got our drive here. I can just kind of push this open with the lid off, and we're going to see if we can pop this in there. I'm going to use my little tweezers that are somewhere around here. Ironically, exactly where I put them, well, obviously. It's just like the saying, it's always in the last place you look. I feel like this one's a little too springy. We'll see once I get it on all the way, though. Yep, shoot. Way over. Well, you know what? We're going to try it. If it is too springy, we can always swap it back. Okay, give it some power. Let's see what happens here. Oh. Nope, definitely doesn't like that. Okay. Actually, I'll try that one more time. Hey. Nope. Not quite strong enough. That's what's happening. Okay. We're almost there. Okay, so we just need one. I'm actually going to take this off. This is a big pain in the butt for me. Grippy. I hate non-magnetic screws. Alright, let's go digging and see if we can find a different size here. I'm going to take this one out. So we definitely need it tighter than that. You know what? I really wonder if one of these is too small. Actually, I'm just going to try putting it in there with my fingers. See if I can. Is that too big for the wheel? Okay. Well, it actually felt pretty good. Let's see what that does. Oh. Like I need to almost grease it up a little bit. I like to get this out of there if I can, but cannot seem to find the release for it. Aha! Alright, we got it loose. Okay, so I had to reach in and push this to the side, this tab right here, and then I ended up having to slide this forward which looks like it was on this little piece there. I do have a piece of something down there, which is probably another thing that came off during shipping. Oh, come on. Whatever. That thing's gonna be shedding pieces for years. That all seems to be spinning quite freely. What is that? That's a sensor. Probably tells when it's closed. It's possible that that's getting tripped early. Well, there we go. That's our problem. Okay, well, you know what? That's something we can maybe work with. I don't know if I have those pieces, but essentially what's happening is it's getting to the end here, and it's running out of teeth. So it can't even push it the rest of the way, no matter what kind of a belt we have on it. Without those teeth, it's not able to push it further any. Now, I don't know if I don't think, that was not one of the pieces that I found in my travels here. Wondering if that's one of them though. Shaking this around. Come on now. Hey, that's part of our teeth. The question is that going to be enough? Oh man, that's close. That's close. I think you can see that. There we go. Alright, it's not the full range, but who knows, maybe I'll find more teeth in here? Maybe? Let's see how far this goes past it, if I can just set that there. I can't, I guess. Put some super glue on it. Because I think then we'd be only missing 2 teeth from the looks of it. So we're going to get this super glued. And then we're going to see if that fixes our issue. I think that's going to help tremendously. Alright. Be right back with the super glue. Alright. Got the super glue here. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. So we're going to be putting this little piece right here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the piece up with my tweezers. Maybe. Spin it around. Okay. Okay, I know I got super glue in there. Come on, there we go. Ooh. Don't need all that. Okay. Okay, well, put the cap on here. I think I'm gonna have to open up a new tube here soon. Getting towards the dregs of the bottle, but as you can see, our piece is in there. Nice and snug. Yeah, this whole piece right here has been lost. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Not really sure. I'm actually curious if the belt would work after all. If this is if this belt's good. We'll have to try it again once the super glue dries. But I'm gonna poke around in the console, or the player, I guess. This is a player. And see if I can find any more pieces. I feel like if I shake it, maybe maybe it'll be indicative of me finding more pieces, but I think I've glued together all the pieces that that I've been aware of. So, who knows? See what I can find. Well, I did find one more piece, which I do know where it goes. Doesn't help us out at all, but it goes to the front of the drive tray right there, which might help for when we put on the front. So I'm gonna glue that piece back on. I did not find the other pieces yet though, so what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna glue this back on. Use up the excess I had gotten out of there before. It's still coming out. So we'll cap that real quick, and then we'll place that like so. Put some super glue on me. Make sure that I don't get any on the drive itself. Okay, there we go. And that's going to be covered up by the front cover, so I'm not worried too much about the excess super glue. But next thing I'm going to do, I think I found some, or heard some other pieces rattling around up in here. So I'm going to see if I can take these screws out and lift the front panel forward a bit. Let's see if I can get access to any of those pieces that might have fallen out. I feel like it's promising. Somewhere in there is the rest of these teeth, and that's going to fix our problem. This thing's going to be held together with super glue and dreams. Let's see if this... I don't want to break this in any way. I don't think... I think there's more screws holding it together than I can see right here. Yep, oh, there's another piece. Okay. So there's actually, as I'm turning this thing over, more pieces are falling out. And I think I just noticed this piece right here fits right in, no, maybe not. I thought maybe, maybe it does. Yeah, I think I was just holding it the wrong way. Yep. Look at that. Worst puzzle ever. Let me see if I can get some of that excess glue there. We'll see if that sticks or not. Oh, and I think this corner, I think I found all the pieces. Well, at least to the outside of the tray. This piece goes right there. Oh my gosh. Wow, I was not expecting to find those. I had lost hope. So while I'm here, we're gonna... Oh, that one's stuck. Good. I wanted that there anyway. Totally meant to do that. And then this one, pretty sure this is still squeezing out. Yep. Put a little dab there. Close it back up. And this piece, use my tweezers. Oh, come on. That's why I love the gel. Actually gonna set it down for this one. Here we go. Wow. I'm seriously not expecting to find those at all. This one's being a pain. Okay, alright, we'll leave that one as it is. And we're going to set this over on our workbench away from here because I did find some other screws. Okay, so I flipped it over. I've got a couple screws here and here. We're going to try taking it out and see if that lets us get access. Hopefully I don't hear a crashing noise from all the parts falling out when I open this. So far so good. Okay, so we gently flip this back over. No more pieces have fallen out. Let's see if this slides forward at all. If it doesn't easily, then I'm going to leave it. Yeah, it's got those wires in front of it, which is probably why. So I'm not going to mess with it. This thing is fragile enough as it is. What I am going to do is take this fragile system and shake it around a little bit more. Because so far that's given me the most luck. It's kind of like the cartoons always used to show, like the bully flipping the kid over and shaking the money out of his pockets. Kind of like this. Same thing. Oh, see? I hear something. Sounds like a big piece, too. I know that's our teeth. I can hear you. Okay, so good news. Found that if I remove all of the screws off of the bottom of this, the whole bottom comes off. Which is good news because I might be able to shake this around a little more until I can find some pieces. Success! We found the piece, and it has the teeth on it. So, I'm going to glue this back onto the drive tray, just like so. Oh, crap. Well, we're almost there. That might be enough teeth to get it by, but I'm, I think, 2 teeth shy. And that's going to be a tiny piece to find. But, see what I can do. I'm going to glue this back on, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, well, this is now dried overnight. You can see it's pretty solid there. I did find a few other shards in the box that this thing was shipped with, but I don't think they go to that area. They might, but I don't think it's going to be worth trying to put it back together. The other pieces that I was able to find for the front are dried. So this is actually square again. This one's offset a little bit, but that's the best I could get it. So, oh, other piece, which I had found earlier, but I wasn't sure where it went until I was looking last night. It's right here. This like a little stopper. Not entirely sure if any of this is going to be strong enough with the super glue to go back to fully functioning, but we're going to try it and see how well it works. Alright, let's see how this does here. This gear down here, I think is going to be wide enough to catch all those teeth, but I won't really know for sure until we put it in here. I just want to see where that bar goes. Alright. Moment of truth. Here we go. Yeah, helps if I plug the damn thing in. It's out. Oh, you know what? I have to get this thing. There we go. Let's try that again. Hey, alright. We got our replacement Timekeeper chip. So, we are going to pop this into our CDI, and hopefully I'm able to save a game. So we're going to grab our IC chip remover, like so, and we're going to pop this one out, like so, and we're going to see if we can pop this one in without bending the prongs. This one definitely has thinner prongs than this one, but everything else seems to be the same. Pitch and dimension looks to be the same, so that's good. So we'll fit this into our socket here. Try to get it centered as much as I can. There we go. Went in pretty easily. Hopefully everything's making contact. So now we are going to power everything on, and hopefully, let's see, find our remote here, power it on, okay. Now one thing I'm going to do, so I'm going to go to settings. Oh hey, November 20th, 2025. Interesting. It's not 9:10, but it is 8:15 here. So we're gonna change this to 8:15, and it is the 19th. So I wonder if somebody had set this previously, maybe? We'll do 12-hour. Okay, we'll say okay. Alright, now we're going to power her off, and we're going to unplug, or I'm going to turn off my power strip here. I'm going to power back on. Let all the power discharge. Now last time I did this, I did not have any date time settings, which makes me think that thing's actually got RAM embedded in it, which I wasn't sure of. So it's actually almost like a portable memory chip, maybe. Just thinking about it. Hello? Let's try giving it a second. There we go. Come on now. I'll give it a moment here. I didn't turn this off. Oh, did I turn the dang TV off? I hate when I do that. My gosh. Alright. 8:16 p.m. November 19th. Alright. Well, it saved our settings. So I am actually going to test this out. I'm going to try taking out the chip and popping the old one in, and we'll just prove that everything is working how it's supposed to. Alright, I think I figured it out. This TV, when I turn off the power strip, it actually turns off the TV. So we're going to boot her back up again. Here we go. Now let's see what our date is set to. Aha, so it's reset. So if I turn this off again and put our new chip in, we'll see if it goes back to the date that we just set. Alright, we're powering it back on with the new chip in. Grab our remote. Let's check our settings. And there we go. So that's pretty cool. This actually means, I'm curious if this means that you can actually transfer save games within the Timekeeper between systems. I'm gonna have to test that out because I've got my 450 over here that I'm working on, which I'm going to be doing a Timekeeper mod on in another video. But I'm curious if I save a game over on this system, if I can transfer the Timekeeper to the other system and effectively have like a memory card. It would be pretty a big pain in the butt to have to take this out every time, but if what I do over on this 450 works how I hope it does, I might be able to work something out where you can actually have the memory keeper outside. We'll see. I at least want to get it just working in the first place. But this is super exciting. So I was able to get this one fully restored, and our CD drive is working. Alright, well, we've saved a game on Faces of Evil. And I gotta say that now that the Timekeeper's been replaced, I do feel like this is loading games a little bit better than it was before. I was having some issues with it for a while after I had gotten the pieces out of the disk drive. So I'm glad for that. But let's see if we get I saved it as game 1. So we're gonna see if we get our options. Load game. Game 1. There we go. So we've loaded it. So I'm curious now, once I get the 450 working, if I swap this Timekeeper over to the 450, if I get my same save game. But that'll be a time for a different video. Till then, I'm going to power this off. I'm going to put all the pieces back together. I've got to put the disk drive cover back on. And I've got to put some other pieces back on as well, so I'm going to do that, and then we'll close things up. Alright, so we're going to pop our disk drive out here. Things are working much better with that, now that we got all the gear teeth glued back on. And now that I've got this glued back on as well, we should be able to, I'll take this out for a moment so you can see, I should be able to just slide this right over. Yeah, I'm definitely glad that I did that with the camera off. It felt like I was going to break it the entire time, but closes like a charm now. So we're going to get this, got the cover back on now. I also have to put this bar back across the disk drive. So includes, you know what, we're gonna power things off while I do this, but let's see if I have the right screws, or the right screwdriver. I think we got our T6 or T8, yep, T8. And one over here. Okay, got that bar in. This is solid. For the digital video cartridge is good to go. Timekeeper's inside. The last thing we should have to do is put in these few screws here, which is on the outside of the lid. And of course I will have to crack this open again once we get our 450 working, but for now, get things nice and closed up. Pretty sure these are the same bit, yep. Tell you what, this has so far been, other than the scary moment I had with with creating or installing that jumper cable on a different circuit, which could have turned out pretty badly. Other than that, this has worked out pretty well so far. Doesn't help that, or doesn't hurt that this thing has a ton of room to work with inside. screw. See if I can remember where it goes. Pretty sure it goes over here on the back. Yep, right there. Well, the one thing that I don't know how I'm going to fix is the controller. Because I was not able to find, of all those pieces that I found in the box and in the chassis itself, that was not one of them. So short of finding spares, I don't know what I'm going to do about this. I'm going to stick that on there and kind of get it to work a little bit, but obviously as you play it, it doesn't exactly stay. So this thing's not in too great a condition anyway. I might try to clean it up, but it is disappointing that I have to use it like that, the stick instead of the joystick, but there's no joy left on this joystick. It's just all stick. So I think this case is closed. Get it? Case is closed. But this thing works great. And from what I've read, the disk drive in these is like the CDM9 is the model of disk drive that's in here. And these ones are one of the more reliable disk drives. So glad I got my hands on one of these systems because hopefully it'll last for a good long time. And I've now upgraded the Timekeeper to have a socket, so if we ever need to replace it in the future, which if things are continuing to be built as they have been, I will have to, in about 10 years, replace that Timekeeper. So, yeah, as always, I appreciate you going on this journey with me with the new CDI, Philips CDI 910, and thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe.